What a storm.
Yeah.
What it did from Florida to Georgia, and what's incredible is we actually saw the most rain here in the Carolinas from this system. The final drops are now falling, but there it is. You can see that center of circulation now well offshore, and we mentioned earlier that's going to still cause some very dangerous rip currents. Of course, if you saw some of the cameras we were just showing, no one in their right mind would be swimming right now because it's way too dangerous. But this is the total path that it went through. So this is the last 36 hours of Idalia, and Idalia was quite the storm to make landfall in the Big Bend area, and then look at how powerful it was when it went onshore. But look at all that rain that moved through the Carolinas, and as it started to shift its way off towards east, that's where it's kind of sat in place a little bit longer. So this is going to go down in history for the Big Bend area as one of the strongest hurricanes ever to make landfall. So I had to go way back to the 1800s to find it. It was Hurricane 4. They didn't name him at that point. It was 1896. So this is the strongest hurricane, matching the same strength back in 1896 this area has seen. The most recent one besides that was Easy back in 1950, and of course there was Hurricane 7 back in 1888. And this one's interesting right here if you know your history. One of the strongest hurricanes to ever make landfall was called the Labor Day storm of 1935. Well, it actually made a second landfall that people don't really know about as a Category 2, as around 100-mile-per-hour winds. Here's what Idalia is going to do. It's going to dance around Bermuda. So actually the next story is actually not done plaguing. You're going to see several inches of rain that's going to fall around Bermuda. Still sustained winds getting up to about 50 miles per hour. There were some indications that, hey, maybe this could bend back in the United States. As of right now, it does look like it's going to stay here through the rest of the weekend and then work its way off towards the north and east. So if you're going to the beach, it's going to be a great forecast. 82, 83 around Myrtle Beach. Can't do wrong there. At most of the, you might have a partly cloudy sky on Saturday. Starting off each morning in the upper 60s. Emerald Isle, that's going to be a great place to be. Mid to the upper 60s starting off the day, lower to the mid 80s for highs. But we do have a high outlook for our rip currents. That's through Friday. We'll move down to Tier 2. That's moderate status, meaning that life-threatening rip currents could still happen, but they're not as likely. More probable compared to they are happening today and tomorrow. So at least things are improving. But even at low risk, you're going to have a chance for this. And this is actually one of the most deadly weather events, if we're going to categorize it as that we have here in the Carolinas, that compared to all the other weather events doesn't even hold a candle. So stay safe. Just be aware that that is going to be a hazard, but it's still going to be gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. We are dry today. We're dry tomorrow for our area around Charlotte. The beach will have their drier situation by tomorrow, and we're dry all the way through the weekend. So if you have any plans, it's looking good, and also it's feeling great. Today and tomorrow we're going to have dew points in the upper 50s to around 60. That's that more comfortable range. Then it starts to feel a lot more humid, especially next Monday and Tuesday. We're also cranking up the heat as well. Today 83 degrees, feeling amazing. Winds are getting lighter as I'm speaking. By about 4 o'clock we might have winds just around 10-12 miles per hour. And then by tomorrow, same range. It's called 8 to 13 mile per hour winds through the afternoon. So the winds have really come down, not really noticing them too much compared to what we had through the overnight. Dew points sticking around 60, meaning that it's technically humid, but you're not feeling it nearly as much. Tomorrow's forecast, right around 80 degrees, just a slight heat index, and then just a few more clouds to end the day. Labor Day weekend, what you doing? It looks to be a great forecast, dry throughout, as I mentioned, but it's a lot hotter by the end of it. So we have the lower to the mid 80s on Saturday, upper 80s on Sunday, and then we're back in action into the lower 90s come Monday. So our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast shows pretty much a day for everyone. I usually love to tell you my pick of the week. Well, I don't know what your preference is. If you prefer sunshine, the lower 80s, well, the next few days are your pick of the litter. And then once you get to the end of the week, if you like the lower to the mid 90s with sunshine, well, we have that too, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So enjoy a beautiful looking week here on our 7-day. By the way, starting September tomorrow, looking like a good start to the new month.